As does our next guest, Dr. Ben Carson. He also gave a historic speech most folks remember at the National Prayer Breakfast, taking on President Obama and Obamacare, and about what Americans can expect, some of the dangers that might lie ahead. And of course, now we know much more about what we can expect from Obamacare. Of course, Dr. Ben Carson joins us now live here on our set to talk about this and much more. Of course, his new book as well, One Nation. Dr. Carson, great to have you with us.
Thank you. Always good to be with you.
All right, tell us how the book's doing. I know it's been up and down on the New York Times bestseller list, but most importantly, it's on that list, so a lot of folks are reading it.
Yeah, it's been on the list since it came out, and the lowest it's been is number 4. It's number 6. It's number 4 this week.
And it's back up rising. When you talk to folks out there on your book tour, what piece of information or advice do they talk to you the most about that they say resonated most with them inside these pages?
Well, you know, I was doing a book signing this weekend in North Carolina, and like all of the book signings, just wall-to-wall people. But, you know, they are most concerned about what's going to happen to their children and to their grandchildren, and they resonate tremendously with the fact that at the end of each chapter we have action steps, things that you can do both individually and collectively. Because the fact of the matter is, we the people are the pinnacle of power in this nation, but we have to exercise that power, and we have to exercise it in a rational, intelligent way. We have to be informed. We can't go into a booth looking for a D or an R or a name that looks familiar. That leads to what we have now.
Well, you mentioned some of the chapters in your book. You also mention in your book the importance of doctors, medical professionals getting involved in the political process. Yes. Why do you believe that's so important?
Yes, I said doctors, scientists, engineers, because these are people who have been trained to make decisions based on evidence, based on facts, and not ideology. So, generally speaking, when you present facts to people like that, it has an impression on them. It makes no impression whatsoever on ideologues. They say, oh, we don't care about the facts, or we only care about our own set of facts.
So they want that gut feeling. Now, also, you have created a new political action committee with the same title as your book, One Nation. A lot of folks say that's the first step one might need to take before running for political office. Fair enough?
Fair enough, except we changed the name to usafirst.com, PAC. But,
your campaign manager, did he suggest that?
There were various reasons that we decided to do that.
Okay.
We didn't realize that that name was actually available. But at any rate, we need to begin to investigate all the things that need to be investigated. And we also want to make sure that we can support those individuals who think logically, because I believe we're at a critical point in our nation where we're either going to go in one direction toward the, quote, utopian society that so many have tried before, that always ends up looking the same, with a few elites at the top, a rapidly diminishing middle class, and a greatly expanded dependent class, or we're going to move back to self-reliance, compassion, and a nation that is for, of, and by the people.
Now, at this point, I mean, you will definitely have an impact if you do decide to run on the conversation. You have so much popularity, especially among grassroots groups. Why not just say at this point, because you could be the first to really set the tone of the discussion in this race. You've talked about a positive tone. You talked about compassion. Why not just jump in right now and start setting the tone?
Well, I am jumping in right now. I'm jumping in right now in terms of being in multiple states every week, talking to large groups of people.
So some people might interpret that as you are running already.
And encouraging them to talk to the people in their spheres of
waters?
influence. No, I'm just trying to make sure that Americans are awake and that they make decisions that are appropriate and consistent with their beliefs, and that they don't allow themselves to be manipulated, because that's what's going on right now.
So is that a yes or a no? We're trying to pull it out of you.
Correct.
Are you going to run?
That is a yes or no.
It is a yes.
Yes or no.
You're correct.
So maybe. That wasn't one of the options. You know, we mentioned about doctors getting involved in the political process. What is your take on what's going on with this Ebola outbreak?
Well, you know, Ebola is a terrifying disease. You know, if you don't treat it, you know, close to 90% of people will die. Now, a lot of people think that that's just the case in general, but in fact, with adequate treatment, you know, you get closer to 50–60%. So, and I'm sure with more experience with it, we'll get better than that. But, you know, I am a little concerned that we're bringing it back here. I think we have the ability to treat it in other places. And the reason that I would be concerned about bringing it back here is because it's transmitted primarily through bodily fluids. And it can actually survive outside of the host, outside of the
right,
the
21
body.
days, right?
Yeah, for, you know, for several days at least, which means that, let's say, a container of urine or vomitus or whatever, for whatever reason, gets disseminated out into the public, you got a big problem. Why do we even risk such a thing when we can send experts elsewhere? We can send a plane, you know, equipped to handle this somewhere to land. We can create a part of a hospital somewhere. We have lots of options.
But everyone's saying we're more equipped than other countries.
We are
handle
more
this.
equipped. I totally agree with that. But we can export that preparedness and that expertise to somewhere else. Why would we bring that into our country? Why would we expose ourselves when we already know that there are problems that can occur and have occurred, quite frankly?
Bottom line, Dr. Carson, you think this is a mistake by the CDC, by Emory University Hospital to bring Ebola into this country?
I certainly would treat it where it is, use our expertise, and then once we've cured the individuals, bring them back with open arms.
And in terms of the warning from the World Health Organization and others out there that this is a very serious, there's the potential for further spread of this is very real. What's your take on that?
It is very real. I mean, it's a highly contagious disease. And all it requires is some infractions in procedures, and all of a sudden you've got more spread. And that's what I'm afraid of.
The World Health Organization, the director is actually saying that if this outbreak continues, that it could be catastrophic. Would you agree with that assessment?
It could be if it's not handled correctly.
Well, let's hope everything is handled correctly. Dr. Ben Carson, always great to see you. Congratulations on the announcement. The new pack, give us the name one more time and where folks can go to get more information.
USA First.
USA First, and of course the book is called One Nation. You can get that on Amazon.com or a number of other sites. Currently still a New York Times bestseller. Once the #1 bestseller, might get up there one more time again.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance.
All right, Dr. Carson, good to have you here, and good luck as the book tour continues, and good luck on your political action, and encouraging more doctors to get involved in the political process.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, more to come here on America's Forum. We're going to talk more about the immigration debate on that, and also have more information on Ebola, plus what Dr. Carson said on that coming up throughout the show today. Of course, your chance to weigh in is coming up here as well. America's Forum continues on Newsmax TV right after this short commercial break.